Hey everybody, my name is Ragnon, and this is my Paladin guide for Season 4 of Shadowlands for Mythic Plus. So, first of all, why would you want to play Paladin? Paladin is in a great spot as far as tanking goes. It's a very high damage octane tank that also has quite a bit of survivability now with all the, uh, you know, all the power that we've had that's built upon itself over the course of the expansion. So, also you have very good group utility that you bring in the form of like sack and bop and good off heals with Word of Glory. With how things currently are, you really should not have a difficult time maintaining 100% uptime on Shield of the Righteous, and that gives you some free extra holy power and stuff to spend on healing up allies with Word of Glory and stuff like that. Um, as far as viability with the affixes and stuff like that, there's really not a week where Pally gets shut down. It does really well on all of the different affixes. For Necrotic, for example, you've got your file and uh, you've got a really good way to drop your stacks with your consecration slow, and you can also, if you want, just like quickly use bubble and then cancel it off to clear necrotic stacks. And there's a final stand that you can run. There's all kinds of good stuff. So it is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So let's go over a couple things. First of all, the talent setup. So the talent build that you're going to want to use for Mythic Plus is Holy Shield. Uh, you really aren't going to swap off this because it has so much synergy with your 4 set. It'll let you block spells. You'll deal a little bit of extra damage when they attack, and when you block something. So, very very good. First Avenger is the best one for Mythic Plus. Your shield's going to bounce 2 extra times, and you're going to get a huge amount of absorb from this. Over the course of the dungeon, this will likely be your top heal. Blinding Light is a nice AoE stop for spells and stuff like that. You could run some of the other options, but I haven't swapped off this. It's just so good. On this row, the 35 row, you're going to go ahead and take Unbreakable Spirit. It's going to make it so that your bubble is on a 3.5 minute cooldown instead of 5 minutes. Your Ardent Defender, which is your main go-to defensive, is on a 1.4 minute cooldown, and it's further reduced by conduits and stuff, so you're going to be getting that just about every pull. And Lay on Hands becomes a 7-minute cooldown instead of a 10-minute. So very nice. Lots of extra utility that you get from those shorter cooldowns. Divine Purpose is going to give you the most value throughout the course of a dungeon. Has a chance to give you your next Holy Power ability free, and it does more damage and healing. So very nice. You're going to get random procs of this. It just equates to higher Shield of the Righteous uptime, which equates to more damage, which also equates to more frequent free Word of Glories. So very nice. If you're running just like vault keys and stuff and you want to maximize your damage, you could run Seraphim. It is kind of expensive. It uses 3 holy power, which we're not really hurting for holy power currently. So it can work out just fine, and it'll give you a big boost of extra damage that lines up with your wings and stuff. So that's an option. I wouldn't take Holy Avenger. On this row, you can actually swap this one out quite a bit. On the 45 row, Consecrated Ground is very, very nice to be able to kite. It's what makes you able to kite outside of your horse. Your steed is on a fairly lengthy cooldown, 45 seconds. You're not running the double charge typically, so depending on how much you're needing to kite and stuff and how wise you are with your usage of steed, sometimes it's not up to be able to kite. Consecrated Ground makes it so that you can kite anytime you want, which is great. Hand of the Protector is a nice option. Since we have so much power right now and you don't sometimes even need to kite, depending on what the affixes are in the dungeon and so on. Hand of the Protector makes it so that your off heals with Word of Glory is pretty much a full heal anytime you use it on somebody. It makes it hit so hard. Healing other people with Word of Glory when you don't have Hand of the Protector doesn't really feel great, but when you do, man, it feels like every single heal is a lay on hands. It's really, really good. And if you are not planning to kite and you forget to heal other people with Word of Glory, then you could be lazy and take the raid talent Judgment of Light. That's going to make it so that your judgments put debuff on an enemy that heals everybody as they're tagging. So I wouldn't really recommend that, but you could. And then in this row, you've got two options here. You've got Righteous Protector, which is really nice. It's going to reduce the cooldown on your wings and on your Ancient Kings every time you spend Holy Power. So this makes it so that you pretty much have a 1 minute cooldown on wings, which means that you should get it just about every pull. And then your Guardian Ancient Kings, it essentially halves the cooldown. So instead of being a 5 minute cooldown, you can plan it to be between a 2 and 3 minute cooldown. Probably about 2.5 is a good bet. Alternatively, you can take Final Stand. That's the mass bubble taunt. That'll make it so that when you bubble, everybody that's within 15 yards is taunted for that full duration. So it becomes an 8-second taunt, which is really nice. The uses for this, a lot of times you could just get as much value just by having more frequent Guardian of Ancient Kings for big pulls and stuff. You have to remember also that in order to do a bubble taunt, you don't necessarily need to have Final Stand. You can bubble and then actually use your taunt, and that'll cause them to attack you for, I believe it's 3 seconds. And then at that point, you would cancel your bubble. Or if you're just looking to drop necrotic stacks or something like that, for example, this is the last week of Season 3. It's a necrotic week. To drop your stacks, you don't actually need bubble taunt. You can just Divine Shield, and I've got a macro here that makes it so that when you bubble, isn't it? Right here. When you bubble, if you push it twice in a row, it'll just cancel it. So you push it, and then you push it again. You just spam push it, and it'll bubble you, and then it'll cancel it, and you actually don't typically lose any aggro. It happens so fast. So that can be nice, and you don't actually need that talent. Let's go over Soulbinds and conduits and everything. If you're doing Mythic Plus, you're going to want to be Kyrian in Season 4 still. It is Divine Toll and just all the stuff that you get with Mechanicos and everything is so good. So you are going to be wanting to run Mechanicos. This is I really don't swap off this. This is my Mythic Plus conduit setup. So we've got Ring and Clarity as our first potency. Just makes your Divine Toll deal a ton of extra damage. By casting up to 3 extra times on the main target. So that's really helpful, especially when it comes to like the boss fight parts of dungeons and stuff. Lights Barding, very nice. Your steed lasts twice as long. Resolute Defender, so this extends the duration on your main cooldown, your Ardent Defender, which is a 20% damage reduction. It extends the duration of it by every time you use Shield of the Righteous, and also its cooldown is shortened as well, so it should be about a minute. It's shorter than a minute cooldown when it comes to it, so you should have this just about every pack at the start of every pack, which is very nice. Golden Path gets some extra healing for consecration. The main reason you're going down this way is so that you can get Hammer of Genesis. This makes it so that when you start a pull, you get a nice haste stack. Typically, packs are going to have 5 or more, and so that means that every time you start a new pull, you get a 15% haste bonus for 10 seconds. So that's really helpful when you start a pack to get, snap threat and all that, dude, all the stuff that you need going during your wings, so that you get a lot of damage, a lot of threat at the beginning of a pull, and then as things start dwindling down, you can kite or whatever. And you've already established all your threat and stuff. For this potency, Avenger's Shield causes your target to take increased damage. Avenger's Shield is a big part of your rotation in Mythic Plus, so causing everybody that gets hit by the Avenger's Shield to take 6% extra damage from you is very welcome. This is just passive. It gives you some increased damage to your target. Shielding Words. Every time you wog yourself, or whoever you cast it on, it gives, anytime you cast wog, whether it's on yourself or somebody else, you get a nice shield based on the healing done. So if you're using it when you're at low health and it heals you for, 90% of your health, that's going to be a pretty hefty shield that's on you that lasts 10 seconds afterwards. And then one of the big reasons you take Mechanicos is for this final conduit here, passive conduit, that reduces the damage of your Divine Toll and also deals a nice little bit of damage to everybody that gets hit when it's cast. So that's conduits, that's talents, that's soulbinds. Let's go over gear real quick. So you're going to want your 4-piece that you can get. That is carrying over into Season 4, so make sure that you have your 4-piece, and that's going to make it so that your Shield of the Righteous increases your block chance, which is really good. And then also, whenever you take damage, you have a chance equal to whatever your block chance is, 100% of your block chance, to cast an extra judgment at your attacker. So that's why this first talent, a Holy Shield, is so nice. Block chance equates to more judgments that are thrown out. So very nice. As far as legendaries go, you're going to want your Unity, which will give you Divine Resonance. That means that after you cast Divine Toll, you're going to chuck out extra shields every 5 seconds. So very nice. And then your legendary, you're going to want Righteous Fury, which the actual name of that legendary is called Bulwark of Righteous Fury. And it can go on your shoulder or finger. Since shoulder is a tier slot, I went ahead and put mine on my finger. And that's going to make it so that when you cast Avenger's Shield, it's going to increase the damage of your next Shield of the Righteous by 30% for every target that gets hit with your Avenger's Shield. So if there's a 5 mobs in a pack, when you cast Avenger's Shield, it's going to increase your damage of your next Shield of the Righteous by math 150%. And also increases its radius by 6 yards, which is helpful to make sure that it's hitting everybody. So pretty sweet. That's going to be the bulk of your damage when you're doing a Mythic Plus. Shield of the Righteous is usually going to be your biggest damage, and so it's nice to amp that up. All right, let's talk about rotation. So my typical game plan, let's just imagine this is a Mythic Pull, just a trash pack. My typical plan is to get Wings, get Ardent Defender, so that Ardent Defender is, lengthened every time you cast Shield of the Righteous. So it makes sense to pair it with Wings, because you're extending it more often with how much extra resource generation you have with Wings. You're casting more Shields of the Righteous, which extends Ardent Defender. It pairs well. Also on the pull, that makes you just a little bit safer while you're getting things set up and you're getting in position, and you might not necessarily always have Consecration down. And then you want to get Consecration down as soon as possible, because your Mastery makes it so that your Consecration is like an uber defensive. You take reduced damage while you're in your Consecration, which is huge, and that applies to both physical and magic damage. So you want to you remember the ABCs of Paladin. Always be consecrated. So you always want to be in your Consecration. And if you need to move, throw it down as soon as you can. So after you Wings, Ardent Defender, go ahead and I usually pull with an Avenger's Shield followed by a Divine Toll, and then get your Shield of the Righteous up as soon as possible and maintain that. And then you kind of go through your priority, which is going to be Avenger's Shield, Judgment. Make sure you're casting Shield of the Righteous anytime you have 3 or more Holy Power, and don't overcap. And then fill with Hammer of the Righteous. So a pull might look like this. I go ahead and Wings, Ardent Defender, Consecrate, Divine Toll, spend my stuff. Just using all my extra Holy Power, just constantly using it on Shield of the Righteous anytime I can. During Wings, you want to use Hammer of Wrath whenever you can. So it's pretty much just whack-a-mole. You just light whatever button you have available to you, and generate Holy Power that way. Spend it on Shield of the Righteous. Make sure you maintain your Consecration the whole time. So not a very difficult rotation, but it is a very fun one. And then as a pack is starting to die, or as you're starting to run out of defensives, maybe you run out of your Ardent Defender, whatever. It's raging week. You need to kite. You just move away. Keep dropping consecrations, and you can keep using your ranged ability. You can keep using divine tolls. You can keep throwing out Avenger shields, judgments, hammer of wraths if they're low, things like that. Keep using all your ranged abilities to keep threat going, and just keep walking back and dropping consecrations as you go. So pretty easy rotation. So that is, I'm sure there's things that I'm forgetting. If there's something I'm forgetting, then please mention it in the comments. One last thing, trinkets. Trinkets are changing in Season 4 because our dungeons are changing. So I'm not super familiar with the older dungeons. I know that the rings from the Mechagon stuff, the then rings, whatever, those are going to be really strong, so you want to get those. It sounds like the necks necks and possibly rings are going to be strong from the Warlords of Draenor dungeon because they have main stat on them. That could change. Hi, baby. Second. Over the hat. Okay, here. And then the trinkets. That's a big thing that is changing. So Blood Spattered Scale is no longer really going to be a thing because DOS is no longer in the rotation. So just based off of what we were used to already in Shadowlands, Tazavesh is not going anywhere, so that means like Solea's is still going to be there, and it is a nice stat stick. Also, we've got Codex, which has been nerfed a little bit, but it's still very strong. So Codex of the First Technique reflects incoming damage, which is very nice. Some of the other trinkets that are coming back with all of the raids are going to be Sanctum of Domination, the third boss here, the 9. This Shard of Anilhide's Aegis, this is incredible. It's pretty much an immunity against any kind of dots in trash packs and stuff like that. It's a flat damage reduction from every ability up to a certain amount. So that means that if mobs are hitting you for lower than that amount, you don't take any damage. So it's really, really nice. It's not so good against like big single hits, so it's not quite as incredible against bosses and stuff, but against trash packs, against dot heavy stuff, it is just absolutely incredible. Really good trinket. Another one is Fate Scribe has Weave of Warped Fates. This is a really nice cheat death. Coming back from Castle Nathria comes from Splintered Heart of Alar. This is also another cheat death that we can get, which is very nice. From, I forgot right here. From Guardian of the First Ones, this Reactive Defense Matrix is a nice defensive trinket that deals actually quite a bit of damage as well. It reflects damage, so that could be another good one to look at. And there's probably some I'm forgetting, but there's also going to be some that I'm not familiar with that come from the new dungeons. So we'll just see how those shake out. I want to show you one last tool that you can use. Regardless of how the meta changes or something like that, a way that you can always be up to date with what is the best is obviously you can look at logs and stuff like that, but a much easier way, if you're not familiar with this tool, is called subcreation.net. So, subcreation.net, and you can go to the Mythic Plus section, and this hasn't been updated for the new season. I'm creating this in anticipation of Season 4, but let's say that I'm looking for what the best stuff for Mythic Plus is. I would click here, and then you can go to the tank tier list, find Prot Paladin, which is right here. And then right here, you can see it'll show you the best talents. You can see that the max key that's been done with this is a plus 30. And overall, there are 1,371 parses that have used this within the past 4 weeks. So very popular. You can see 19% run this, and so on and so forth. You can see that 99.68% are using Kyrian, and you can kind of go down the list here. You got talents, you got what legendaries you should run. I really like going down here to the combos, which is the very last option, and you can see right here, this top one, for example, is you have all the talents, you've got the legendaries, and you've got all of the Soulbinds and conduits. So right here you have a one-stop shop for the general main points of your build. And if you're looking for like trinkets and stuff, you can go here to trinkets, and you can see right currently before season 4 drops, the majority of people are running Blood Spattered and Codex. So this is a fantastic tool. This also works for raid. I haven't created my raid guide yet. That'll be a separate video. But if you're looking for what the best for raid is, you go here to Sepulcher. This will probably change once we have all the raids. It's going to have other sections, I would hope. But you can look and see, same kind of deal. You find Paladin. You can check it by boss. And you can look at the builds, you can look at the combos here. So you can see the top raid build is this talents. It's Venthyr, they use Mad Paragon, and it looks like Theotar. So, hope this has been helpful for you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I do check them daily, and I would love to help you in any way I can. So, thank you for watching this Paladin guide. Happy keying.